Welcome, Pisces. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do a full moon in Aquarius reading for you. This has occurred in the last 24 hours as you're receiving this message, so the energy is still very full, with Pluto conjuncting the energy of the moon in the first degrees of Aquarius. This is super powerful energy that is helping us to consider the variety of resources and alternatives we have to connecting and communicating with others, no matter how distant or far. And this is particularly important for not only your creative process, something that you deeply desire, and that you may be creating or building in some kind of a community of peers. But it's also striking at Saturn and Neptune, your ruler, in conjunction in Aries in the same early degree, Neptune's in the same early degree of the moon and Pluto. So there's a way in which you are being prompted to initiate something, build something, create something, give form to your dreams. So I'm going to start with the tarot cards, and then we'll move into the oracles. And in the present, I have the World card and the Eight of Jades. You are completing a chapter. You're closing out a phase of your life. You perhaps have achieved something for which you've been recognized. You're receiving some kind of reward for that achievement, if it is only in lessons learned. Sometimes these closing out are not always as public or as recognized by the public as we would like, but you've learned a lot, and you are clearly aware that this closing out was merely a preparation for something that you are building now. So this preparation, this focus on improving your skills, developing yourself, making sure that you are prepared for opportunities that you are aware yet to have emerged. For some of you, the new beginning is clear. You're already focused on it. You're working hard on it. For others, you're still working on releasing and gathering the lessons of this old phase. But you are ready to build something that is highly successful, that is poised to be very successful. In the past, the High Priestess. And she's talking about the wisdom that you have accumulated from the experience you're currently in and from past experiences. There's something here for the Pisces I'm speaking to that is in some kind of confluence with your religious or spiritual upbringing. I feel that many of you have some kind of spiritual alliance with deity or Orisha or saints. There's a divine energy that you are in intimate relationship with that has guided you for many of you since your family of origin, and is part of what I'm sensing is this changing of life chapter, life stage. So for many of you, this is roughly about the time of your first Saturn return, in between your late 20s, early 30s. And for others of you, this is your second solar return, which is about your late 50s to early 60s, in fact. This is a time when you are literally moving out of one phase of development to another. And for those of you that are approximately in the phase of your Saturn return or moving towards it, you are experiencing this sense of closing the door to childhood or preparing to. And similarly, for those of you in your second solar return, you are grappling with or understanding better what your midlife experience has resulted in and what kinds of things you want to shift and change. So, in the future, the Death card, a lot of major arcana. The Death card is talking about the change you're preparing yourself for. So this actually speaks to this idea of Saturn's motion through our chart, throughout our lives. It makes at least two, and often three complete revolutions in our life, so that you are actually preparing for this change, this surrender. It looks like to higher spiritual and social values, a higher sense of standards and ethical conduct, higher standards of justice, fairness, and equality. But in order to do that, one must change within, certainly, but change externally those conditions that hinder us from experiencing the advancement, the healthy advancement that we actually can submit to. In other words, if we are conscious about our ability to change, our desire to change, our desire to be a change, to impact change, we're more likely to experience this as gaining more control, not less, over our lives. This is about the freedom of choice in creating what is new, moving towards something more authentic to you, more in deep service to the world or the community that you understand you are a part of and that you impact. This feels like some kind of generational or ancestral healing going on here, that there's a role you play in the healing of some community or social environment. This is really quite powerful, Pisces. So from the Wild Unknown archetype, I pulled the Offering. This is feeling really quite destined for many of you, depending on your own spiritual affiliation or desire for advancement. So the offering reads, the titles are the gift, the present, or the sacrifice. Unlike many of the other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. It is time for something to be given and given up for the sake of the bigger picture. If nothing comes to mind immediately, take time in meditation to consider what must be offered and who is to receive it. But recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. Well, this very much is in alignment, Pisces, with your intentional and conscious desire to merge with the environment, with everything, with the one, with one love. This is powerful recognition of the connection between all things. And so in making a sacrifice, there is a conscious awareness that nothing is being sacrificed. Rather, one is contributing something more to the whole, which is the macrocosm of who we are. So this feels as though it is signaling a message in a direction that you're offering to make some kind of significant social contribution to the world. That this has always been a sense of clarity about that throughout your life, even if the nature of that is not grand, need not be grand, but a way in which you've always understood your presence here to be contributing to some kind of social change, some kind of spiritual illumination. And for the Crystal Spirit Oracle, I pulled Obsidian. Interesting. I am going to read as well from the guidebook here because there's so much about obsidian I'd like to know more about. So its essential meaning is self-reflection. Know thyself. A little bit about the crystal. Obsidian is a glass-like volcanic rock that forms when lava cools rapidly without crystallization. There are many types, but the most well-known is black obsidian, which this appears to be. This protective and grounding stone assists us in cleansing the energy field, as well as in identifying and clearing old negative emotions or thought patterns. So, from the relationship message, self-awareness means stopping long enough to acknowledge who you see when you observe yourself, the beautiful you and the you who is imperfect. As you engage in honest self-reflection, you start to see what you are overlooking, the qualities you've been seeking in a partner but have forgotten exist within you. To be authentic in any relationship, you have to know and love yourself just as you are. This is really quite profound, and it feels as though you're being prepared as an offering. And with that, for those of you that are from a strong or clear religious tradition, you are aware of that your very being is part of the offering towards some greater illumination or change that is being anticipated by your community or a community. A contribution to the generational or ancestral healing that you are affecting through your life's purpose. Pisces, if this is resonating for you, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I really appreciate all of you for being here and supporting me in the ways that you do. So I'm going to clarify these cards, but I just have to acknowledge the incredibly powerful divinity that is protecting you right now, that is protecting me even as I channel this message. So for the High Priestess in the past, 2 cards, please. Have pulled the 2 of Swords and the Moon card. And for the World card and the 8 of Pentacles, we have the 9 of Cups and the 4 of Swords. And whoops, that went there too. And for the Death card in the future. Ooh, there's a couple right there. The Page of Wands and the Star card. Surprise, surprise. So, feather back in place. And yeah. So in the past, the High Priestess, yeah, it feels like you've been through a lot. And when I say that I'm going to describe that as incredible sensitivity and awareness as the result of your proximity to some strong emotional force in your life. Again, for many of you, that strong emotional force was an organized religious or spiritual tradition that surrounded you, that guided you, that actively guided those of your caregivers. And you may be approaching a point where, or you perhaps have already experienced this fissure from this community or family or organization. Not a, not a, does feel a little bit like a leaving home kind of energy, but I think it's deeper than that. It is more about pulling up the mantle to do the work that you came here to do. And for some of you, that skill set was developed early in life, so that much of your effort now is in better understanding, studying the experiences you had on a more cosmic or spiritual level, so that you understand the implication of your ideas in terms of the world. Because I see you understanding that your experiences are very primordial. In other words, the experiences of your ancestry, generations, previous generations, or some kind of cultural experience or trauma that you are a part of affecting is something that you are bound up with in terms of not only your personal identification, but your awareness of how the conditions of your family, your culture, are mirrored in the experiences of many others throughout the world. And I think politically, the implication of this is clear to you. So there has had to be a lot of integration between not only your spiritual training, but also of the political dynamics in the world that are being affected or impacted by this experience of long-term trauma, long-term oppression of one sort or another. And in the present, the World card and the Eight of Shades, the Eight of Pentacles is clarified by the Nine of Cups and the Four of Swords. Yeah, this is beautiful. I actually see this creative or process whereby you are allowing yourself to be drawn to your mission and a deeper understanding of that mission and how your person, your work, your thoughts, your language impacts that vision of the world, brings you incredible joy, however, or incredible contentment. It's not joy in the sense of ordinary pleasure, but it's joy in the sense of recognizing a satisfying process of vetting your emotions, coming clear with the assistance you've been born with, the protection that always exists for you, and the ability to face your fears in a way that gains access to this larger sense of protection in the universe that shields you and also empowers you to manifest what you desire. So this is something I see you understanding more and more discreetly as you train or prepare for this new beginning. As you release and surrender a phase of your, or a chapter of your life that is now naturally concluding, but has prepared you for the work that you are doing now and the impact of that work in the future. again, this is requires more articulation and deep understanding about the nature of this oppression that you and others like you have experienced. So you're very careful to extricate that from the ordinary and healthy emotional growth that you have experienced around your talents and gifts, but keenly aware that the impact as a truth bearer, as a justice seeker, implies your gratitude for what could be seen as oppressive conditions in order to prepare you with knowledge, with information about what it is you're up against. There's a gratitude for that. So you are moving forward with the sense that your experience of obstacles has prepared you with the truth, with knowledge of the truth. And that truth is what ultimately serves you as an individual in terms of evaluating your skills and how to improve that. And also the truth of the impact your actions can have on a variety of communities, either where you are or resonating throughout the world. And in the future, the Death card is clarified by the Page of Wands and the Star. I almost feel like you're being born anew. I almost literally, like this death is literally a rebirth into this lighter, more imaginative, creative entity, one that appears small, harmless, and almost elfin-like or spirit-like. I don't know how to describe that word except as the Wicca community does, the Fae, the fairy world, the fairy queendom, whatever it is that you associate with your appearance, almost a pixie appearance to others, this logical, not logical, this emotive, intuitive, highly intelligent, but highly sensitized individual that comes from a world of spirit and faith, comes from a place of belief in the abundance available to all. But in the package of you, you seem harmless, innocent, and therefore easy to not infiltrate, but it's easy for you to enter into places that might ordinarily resist someone of your awareness or consciousness or background. You're playful in your approach, and you are willing to learn, aware that all that you are able to learn from current environment or the possibilities that now exist through communication are something that you are completely comfortable in, completely able to manage and to find information needed about both perhaps historical grievances that you've experienced through your community, through your cultural or ancestral heritage, and this sense of the possibilities, the clarity that this better world already exists, already has existed, and that you are a bridge between that higher world, that higher experience, and the world of now, the world that very much needs the impact of your awareness in order to make the changes that are necessary. But I love the lightness of your energy here, that you are open to recognizing that your impact on the world and your tradition, as traumatic as it may be, does not preclude you from contentment, from joy, from pleasure, from recognizing that the truth is the empowerment of your understanding of these conditions. And yet you are free to explore them, to create with them, and as a playful energy that has access to information from a variety of realms. You are truly empowered, an agent of this better world. I'm going to finish up this reading with the botanical inspiration. I've pulled Clematis. This is the second time today. Intelligence and mental beauty. Wisdom is the abstract of the past, but beauty is the promise of the future. Ashe. Until next time, Pisces. Namaste.